Could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:10. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Von Crooks?
Here.
Benedetti?
Present.
Howie?
Here.
LaFever? Here. Perugi? Here. Rizeppa?
Here.
Stack?
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is, I'm looking for it. It went to the next page. Minute approval for January 7th, regular meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. We have no proclamations or presentations, bid openings, petitions, appointments. We have appointments. The appointments are for the Recreation Commission, the Traffic Safety Commission, and the Civic Commission, and the ZBA. For the Recreation Commission, it's Mary Ann Robinson and Linda Kell. To the Recreation Commission, Dave Heatherly. To the Traffic Safety Commission, Lisa Salito. To the Civic Commission, and Lonnie Fredericks to the Zoning Board of Appeals, with
So
terms
moved.
expiring January 1st, 2022. It's been moved and supported. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Benedetti?
Yes.
Howie?
Yes.
LaFever?
Yes.
Perugi?
Yes.
Rizeppa?
Yes.
Stack?
Abstain.
Von Crooks?
Yes.
Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is from our City Beautiful Commissioner, Sue Skoglund. She is put in her letter resigning from the City Beautiful, and we're looking to send a letter of appreciation
Motion
to
to
her.
receive and place on file and send a letter of appreciation.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on our agenda, I'll defer to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman LaFever, the 33rd District Court fines, cost, fees to December 2018.
Thank you, Mayor. Make a motion to receive and place on file the fines, costs, and fees for December of 2018, which shows the city of Trenton owing the court $9,200.38.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Mayor Pro Tem LaFever, could you also take the next one with the 33rd District Court Technology fourth quarter payment,
Yeah,
please?
we have a copy here of the court technology quarterly payment, which shows the city of Trenton receiving a check for $26,949. And this includes money that goes to Flat Rock, Gibraltar, Rockwood, Trenton, and Woodhaven, and Brownstown. I believe Trenton
You have the
share.
right amount?
Yeah.
Trenton share is 5,000.
Oh, and Trenton share is $5,306?
Right, $5,306
Okay.
Trenton share.
So it's been moved. Was it supported?
Support.
It was moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on the agenda is from our City Controller, budget amendment for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019. Mrs. Saul.
Thank you, Kyle, and Mayor and Council. So I have attached some budget amendments reflecting changes to various revenue and expenditure accounts just for the halfway point through the year. So there's just a few. In the revenue side, I'm asking for a budget amendment to increase the prior year tax refunds because we already have received $11,000 more than budgeted. Our interest and penalties are up, so an increase in $10,000 in that account. Electrical permits and mechanical permits, we've seen a huge increase in volume, as well as we did have a small permit fee change in September of 18. So $21,000 increase in each of those. Plumbing permits, an increase of about $8,000, also due to volume. And then $35,000 to the local community stabilization budget, just to cover some other part of the expenditures that I'll get to next. First, we have the OPEB trust. Part of our corrective action plan was to pay $50,000 each year. That was not budgeted. The state did approve that plan, so we're going to increase that budget, that expenditure. Our deputy fire chief just needed to be moved to a different account. That's just moving it from one to another. There was some temporary employees. There's just in the clerk's office that we needed to make some budget amendments, but the amounts were taken out of the contractual services, so that offsets to zero, nothing there. And then due to the increase in volume for permits, our part-time inspectors are out there much more than they were budgeted. And that is all. And it nets to zero.
So I'm looking for a
I would so
motion.
move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. I need to do this before we go any further. We have our state representative here, and he might have to go to another meeting, so I'd like to introduce Darren Camilleri, our state representative, and if he has anything he'd like to update, so that I know that sometimes you got to go on your merry way to someplace else, so.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Council, for welcoming me and inviting me here today. The only quick update that I have is that my coffee hour schedule has changed for this new year in 2019. I will be available the second Monday and the second Friday. The second Monday, I will be at Olympic Coney Island in Brownstown at 7 p.m. And the second, so the second Monday, Olympic Coney Island, second Friday at Panera Bread at 9 in the morning. So please come see me if you have concerns or issues. Also, we will be joined in Panera with the state senator for Trenton, which is Stephanie Chang. So she'll be there as well and be available for any questions, concerns, or things that we can try to solve. In terms of legislation, we have not seen any movement on anything. We just got committees appointed, and we're going to be starting up with the full session coming up in the next couple of weeks. I've been appointed to vice chair of the Education Committee. I'm also on the Commerce Committee as well as the Oversight Committee, which are really three good committees to make sure that we are operating well. And for me as a former teacher, making sure that our education is always at the forefront so our students are getting the best education possible. And I've also been appointed Minority Whip, which is one of the leadership posts in the legislature, which I'm excited about. So as always, feel free to reach out. All my information is at repcamilleri.com, and it's an honor to serve the citizens of Trenton.
Well, thank you very much, and I want to thank you again for all the nice certificates you did for all the award winners on Saturday. So thank you again, and
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is from our city engineer, request to purchase fire hydrants, please. Mr. Hogan?
Yeah, thank you. As you can see by the attached memo by our water supervisor, Kevin Sargent, there's a request to purchase 26 new fire hydrants. It's part of our asset management and replacement program. As mentioned, many of our hydrants were originally installed in the 1950s. So we have the pricing that was obtained by East Jordan. That's our standard hydrant. The direct purchase from them is the low quote, and the second bid is by one of their vendors, which is a couple $1,000, $2,000 versus $1,800 more. So our request is to direct purchase from the low quote 26 East Jordan BR 5250 fire hydrants at a total cost of $46,815.36. And waive the formal bid process. And this money is budgeted in our water main replacement account.
I would so move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Councilman LaFever?
Bill, will this take care of the development of the Owen School property? Will that require any new fire hydrants on that property or no?
No. These are replacing existing hydrants. If there's any new hydrants required for the development, the developer is responsible for those.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Councilman Peruggi.
Yes, Mr. Hogan, is this part of a refresh cycle? And if so, what would it take to refresh all of them? Would it be 5 years, 10 years?
It's not necessarily a cycle. It's part of what we discover when they do some flushing and their maintenance. The leaks and different hydrants are discovered. Even during the pump down in the fall for the winterization, they're discovered. We have over 800 hydrants, so we're just pecking away at it.
Okay.
There was 27 this time last year that we replaced during the winter. This is another batch.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Parks and Recreation Director, our Buzz Magazine printing recommendation from our Director, Joanne Gagne, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We are in the process of preparing our 2019-20 Buzz magazine, and the printing, the publication last year was awarded to our low bid low quote, actually, Dearborn Lithograph in the amount of $7,500. They have done our Buzz magazine for a number of years on and off. I have been in contact with them, and they have agreed to keep last year's printing costs the same, but they've requested an additional $456.70 to cover an industry-wide paper cost increase. So the grand total of the project would be $7,956.70. I've attached last year's quote just for your information, and the second quote, the second lowest quote, is still more expensive than what they are proposing this year, and therefore I am recommending to waive the quote process and award the printing of this year's Buds magazine to Dearborn Lithograph in the amount of $7,956.70, and the printing costs it will be covered through advertisement sales.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Councilman LaFever?
Joanne, this is an all-inclusive bid. In the past, we've always had 7 or 8 pages based on if we add a page with different color ink. Is this the final bid?
This is the final. We have been at 60 pages for several years, and we do not anticipate increasing or decreasing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Howie?
Just a quick question. So the reason why we didn't go out for a formal bid was?
Well, it would be a quote because it wouldn't exceed the $10,000. But the reason is I had reached out to them just to see and they have agreed to maintain their printing costs. The cost increase is due to an industry-wide paper increase, and so any additional, all printers would have to absorb that increase. So that's the reason for. And again, looking at last year's quote, it's still less than the second lowest quote from last year. And we have been very satisfied with their service as well. All of the printing costs are covered through advertisement.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Thank you.
And the next item is, I'll have you take, is the Kennedy Recreation Center beverage agreement renewal for Pepsi Beverage Company.
Thank you. This is a request to renew the beverage contract with Pepsi Beverage Company for the Kennedy Recreation Center. This would be for 2 years, ending December 31st, 2020. Pepsi has been under contract to provide our soft drink beverages for the facility since 2014. We have been extremely satisfied with their service and product availability. The financial terms of the contract are consistent per year with the previous contract, which does include also a $2,500 fee paid up front, 25% commission on all vending, and a $3 per case and $2 per gallon rebate on product purchased, which is consistent with the previous contract. As well, Pepsi will also provide donation of product for our hockey showcase and other events. The contract has been reviewed by our city attorney, and he's found it to be acceptable, and therefore I'm requesting your approval of this beverage contract with Pepsi Beverages Company and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
So move. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Oh, sure. Councilman LaFever, I didn't see your hand
Yeah,
up.
no problem. Joanne, if I could add, these things always worry me in a contract when it says a $3 rebate per case. Why don't you just lower the price by $3?
Well, again, it does provide the opportunity for incentive for sales, and it does provide the facility with dollars. So it's kind of a win-win, I suppose, if you look at it that way.
So do they give a $3 per case check, or do they give us cups or something?
No, we do get a rebate of either off. I would have to double check on. I'm not quite certain if it's actually a cash rebate. I believe that it is a cash rebate that we receive that goes back into, that's part of our concession budget.
You don't have to fill out
Revenue.
papers and mail them in or something?
No. We keep track, and they also keep track of what is purchased.
And Coke didn't contact us about wanting to be considered for that?
Well, actually, we went directly with back to Pepsi to see if they were interested in continuing the contract, because we were very satisfied. And the last time we bid it out, Coke Coca-Cola Company was nowhere near the benefit that we received with this contract.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, our Police and Fire Director, Mr. Voss, purchase of 6 cat condominium cages for the Trenton Woodhaven Animal Shelter.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This letter serves as a request to purchase 6 cat condominium cages to be used at the Trenton Woodhaven Animal Shelter. Animal Control Officer Eicher has researched the company Shoreline for these cages that are being purchased and also used Shoreline for the other cages at the shelter. ACO Eicher has expressed a need for new cages, and these are, through her experience, the most durable and cat-friendly. We have funds available in the Trenton Police Department's Animal Control Donation Fund. So I'm asking you to respectfully request the Mayor and Council to consider and grant this request.
Or,
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Zappa.
Yeah, Director Voss, just a quick question. Are we paying for the full amount of this, or is this our share and Woodhaven's paying the other half?
Well, to answer your question, I go into it, it's quite a long answer, but we are paying the full amount. If you want me to expound on that, I will.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
This money was donated some time ago when we had our own shelter.
Okay.
So we're going to use that money for something that the shelter needs now. I did not feel that we wanted to get into that sort of a tit for tat with City of Woodhaven because they put their own money through donations into the shelter
Okay.
as well.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item on our agenda is for ordinance 795, amendment chapter 22, prohibiting recreational marijuana, and I'll give this to our city attorney, please. Mr. Long.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This proposed ordinance 795 was developed at council's request that the city opt out of the new state statute regarding or permitting the sale and use of recreational marijuana. So under the statute, there is a requirement that if the city isn't going to approve it, that it formally adopt an ordinance opting out.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Zappa.
Yeah, I had a question, Madam Mayor. I know we had talked about this at length in the study session before, and I guess I was under the impression, maybe I'm just reading into this wrong, that we were going to prohibit the sale, but I guess, I don't know what the proper term, growing, was something that we were open to as of the last study session.
I think the only growing that we were into was the medical end of it, not the recreational end of it.
Okay. And I guess.
Recreational.
Okay. Yeah, no, I guess I misunderstood that from the group prior. But I guess for Mr. Long, then, this would probably be a question for you. But if we do allow, cultivation, I think would probably be the word here, for medicinal, this would then not allow us to try and negotiate, the community benefits that we had potentially discussed before if they wanted to expand and seek the additional license. I'm a little unclear on this here.
Well, this only deals with recreational marijuana. Medicinal marijuana is permitted under state law. There isn't an opportunity to opt out of that.
Right.
It will be allowed statewide, including in this community. And under that statute, those who indulge in the medical marijuana are permitted to grow it.
Right, okay. I just wanted to be clear, I was a little hazy. Thank you.
Councilman LaFever?
And we can change this at any time, right?
You can, under the state statute with appropriate notice and lead time.
And then repeal of this ordinance, right?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else?
I guess just to piggyback off that, I apologize, but we would be able to, because, I know we've talked about it before, I personally don't want dispensaries in the sale here whatsoever, but would it allow us to, I guess, repeal just the section of it that would say that, in a hypothetical scenario, if someone with the medicinal license wants to expand and also grow, that we would still be able to amend it to prohibit the sale, but allow for cultivation. Is that correct?
Right now, well,
Well, if you're talking about medical marijuana only, that's governed by state law.
Right. I mean, could we amend this ordinance later to just exclude the sale? Is that possible? Or would that have to be an entirely new ordinance?
Well, what you're doing is opting out of the state law that would permit that. So what you would need to do is opt in, and if you were going to divide that issue and permit certain, well, in your example, somebody to grow recreational marijuana, you'd have to amend the ordinance, but could you do that? Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
okay.
One more question for Wally.
Councilman LaFever?
Well, the guys we have in town now, can they expand their operations legally?
That's mostly, I think, what I was getting at.
I don't know the guys in town. I'm not familiar with the fact situation.
There's no caregivers.
But they're limited by state law.
Okay.
And either you're going to permit it, I suppose there's a case that could be made for permitting it on a limited basis, controlling the number of plants. For medical marijuana, it's already included in state statute, and the state won't let you vary from that. But recreational marijuana, yes, you could establish and limit or increase the number
But
permitted.
these guys are growing medical marijuana in town.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I've already had one person contact me and said they're going to expand their operation. Is that permissible?
Let me ask Wally this. Wally, we can actually say that they can't sell it in, or, have dispensaries. We can also say they can't do the processing. Is that correct?
That's
Someone
correct.
Expand their plants.
They can expand to grow.
Up to the limits allowed by state law. Locally, you couldn't increase it above state law limits.
Okay. So the ones that are growing now, they're all registered with the city. We know who they are.
Steve is,
Maybe I can help on this.
Okay.
So we're talking, if we're strictly just talking about the medicinal marijuana organizations on West Jefferson. Right now, currently under state law, since we do not opt in for medicinal marijuana, they are covered under the Caregivers Act, which allows them to grow a certain amount of plants per patient. And I think it's 72 because they can
72.
each have 6.
6 times 12.
The way I understand it, if you were to opt in for medicinal marijuana, they could then get the growing license for, which they, at the study session, they had the numbers where they can go up to 500 or 1,000 plants.
I thought it was 5, 1,000, 1,500.
It could be, I don't know the numbers offhand, but yes, they can increase it if the city opts in for medicinal marijuana.
And if we do that, they have to pay a license fee, right?
that's,
Yeah,
if we put it in the ordinance.
Nothing. Okay, are those, I'm done now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just answering.
So the whole deal is that these guys, we know, how many do we have?
We know that we have 3, for sure, that they have come to us and told us. And they, by law, if we don't do anything, we cannot force them out.
Right.
Because they have the caregiver license.
Okay.
Does that help?
Well, can I help? Could Stephen open one of those up tomorrow?
He would have to get a
State license.
state license from Lara, yes.
Are you anticipating any more of those being opened up? If any inquiries at all like that?
No, but I can understand that, we'll see how, once the recreational gets growing, how much that changes. Because there's going to be a supply and demand, and I know Canada has already struggled with the supply and demand side of it.
Okay, thank you.
So the one thing that we haven't done at this point is opted in for medical marijuana to be grown just by, just to be grown, not by caretaker laws, is that correct?
That's what I believe.
If we approve this here, we're doing we're prohibiting the recreational marijuana.
That's
In
correct.
the meantime, do we have to have a resolution that states that we allow them to grow, but not, we have a dispensary or even processing?
It's already established in state law.
But do we have to declare what we are allowing here?
No, the state law. The question I have is that, I've gotten quite a few calls from different cities. I don't know of anybody not opting out. Stephen, you know anybody not opting out?
Everybody's
Not to my
opted out.
knowledge, no.
Everybody's opted out.
Yeah, that's all I've heard, everybody.
Opting out for recreational,
Correct.
Correct, that's
Okay.
correct, yeah.
okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Councilman Benedetti?
Well, he already sat down, so maybe he can just tell us from there. Do they even have, if they're doing the medical, the caregiver, do they even have to tell us? So there's 3 that were honest enough to tell us.
Because they would like for the city to opt into medicinal marijuana where they can get large.
So we could have more than 3 growing medical.
Not know it.
No,
We don't know.
well, we would have zoning areas.
Well, you're asking how many caretakers we have?
Yeah, how many
We
care-
probably have literally hundreds of them within the city limits, but they're doing it out of their home,
Right.
Okay.
in their basement.
That's,
And yes, we get complaints about people growing 72 plants in their basement, so that's a far better situation where they're at.
Yeah, that's sort of the point I was trying to make, is if we put an area and say, look, you can come here and do this. Okay.
So if we're gonna do something with the medical marijuana, then we have to do, the law is in place that we can have medical marijuana, these 3 businesses. But the thing is that we want to eliminate that they can't, because we don't want dispensaries in town, is that, I mean, that's me, I'm not wanting dispensaries in town. And I'm not sure about processing.
I
So
don't
would
want
we
it.
have to do an ordinance to say that we don't want those 2 things?
No,
Okay.
they're
The,
prohibited.
yeah, the caregiver has to have the grower for his or her patients. Can only grow, under state law, can only grow a certain number of plants and supply those. That's already regulated. You're really not opting in or out. It's, the state law controls it. There isn't an opportunity to opt out of medicinal marijuana. That's already on the books and has been for a number of years.
But how do we stop, I'm still not understanding, how do we stop dispensaries and possibly processing if
State
that's what we choose to do?
law.
From a medical
I'm
perspective.
saying in our community. How do we, if we're gonna go ahead and have the growers, that's fine, whatever. But what I wanna know is, I'm not for dispensaries. I do not want dispensaries in this community. I don't know what the rest of the council feels, but I don't want dispensaries in this community. So I want to make sure that we are covered, that we can't have those dispensaries. And then also, one of the businesses was thinking about doing processing, whether it's oil,
I
this,
think-
that, whatever.
I think what's gotten everybody confused was when recreation marijuana was legalized. But this still goes back to last year, when there was a medicinal marijuana law change, and the cities had the ability to either opt in or opt out. If you didn't do anything, you automatically opted out. So the city of Trenton automatically opted out of medicinal marijuana. Now, these businesses are coming back to us. They strictly want to do medicinal, but they can, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Long, they can, if we opt in for medicinal, we can opt in for them to have a grow operation which carries a license for medicinal, which they can increase their plants, the number of plants.
Okay, and I believe that's what they wanted.
Yes.
The three people. So I guess what I'm asking.
None of them want the recreation. The 3 businesses do not want recreation.
But the thing is what about, so we don't have them saying, oh, we're gonna be a dispensary and we're gonna be a
Can't do it.
processor?
It's illegal.
That's covered by the law, right? You can opt in for only certain
Right.
medicinal
Okay.
licenses.
So we'd have to.
And I
opt
believe
back
it's
in.
still, you can limit the number.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The number of plants that they could grow as a supplier, if you will, to those in holding medical marijuana cards is limited to a certain number of plants per patient, if you will. So if they
But if we.
Medicinal marijuana can also be limited to the zoning.
can
Right.
be, and it's going to be regulated by state law, and the state law doesn't go into effect for another year on that.
It's still not answering my question. I don't know if does anybody get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and I agree with what you're trying to say. Perhaps we might have to have another study session, we can go through there and get some of those.
Because, it's different with dispensaries and with.
I don't believe under the Medical Marijuana Act, you were allowed to have a dispensary on the same site as the grow operation.
Okay. But
And-
they also want to do processing.
Well, you have the ability to opt into these certain licenses, if I remember correctly from last year.
Okay. But we'd still have, if we're going to allow them to grow as many plants as they want to, we still have to opt into that because we're right now at just
Correct.
caretaker level.
They're just doing the caretaker, like they said at the study session. Even if you don't opt in, they're going to stay and do their caretaker. They just want to have as many plants.
So they want to grow more.
Right.
Okay. So I guess what we'd have to look at is if we're going to, in the future, if we're going to have a study session, whether we would want to opt in to allowing them to grow as many as they want to. I think that what we're trying to do is, in some respects, is to have it so that some of these people will take it out of their homes and have somebody grow it at a facility instead of having it in their home area.
That was the theory behind this law.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen? Councilmember Zephyr?
Yeah, no, so that clarifies a lot for me. I'm okay with this as it is. Like I said 5 times before, I don't want dispensaries either. But so I just wanted to clarify that of the 3 people that we have currently doing this, they weren't looking to expand to grow recreational, and that this doesn't inhibit us from any situation where we do opt in and have the ability to negotiate the community benefits that go along with the licensing. Like, this doesn't affect that. I'm just trying to clarify.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
Thank you.
correct. Okay. So is there any other discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Okay. Bob, did you want something? Did you have
No,
something?
I said
Okay.
that was.
Okay.
It was just how much time we spent on that one.
Okay, next item on the agenda is consulting services agreement for James Wagner for our Director of Economic Development. We put this together because we feel that he's a benefit to our community, especially all the contacts he has, that he's gained over 7 years, 8, now it's gone 8. So I'm looking that we need his services. I'm looking to have his services until my term of office ends in November. So right now, we're looking at November 30th for his contract.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there discussion? Councilman Howie?
Just a couple of questions on the agreement. So if you look at item 3B, it says, serve as the city's representative for the Downriver Communities Conference Brownfield Authority. I'm just wondering why wouldn't we want those duties to be performed by our current administrator? I mean, because if the past administrator takes those duties for 8, 9 months, whatever, 11 months, I mean, eventually there has to be a point that the current administrator takes them. Why not take them right now?
The reason why we were looking at keeping him in that position, he's actually chairman of the position right now. He actually is working with and working well with the Paula Bose, who's with the Brownfield. And I don't have any problem with, maybe we can get him or get Scott to be going with him to the meetings. But right now, to cut him off, I think is going to be a detriment to the DCC at this point.
Well, I would definitely insist on that. I think that the new city administrator needs to go in there and.
Well,
get
Scott
up to
is
date.
going to be the DCC representative.
Right.
Okay, I'm the alternate. And then I did talk with Jim Perry, and he said that we could have Jim be in that position as the Brownfield. So I'm just looking that, he's got all the contacts and things like that at this point, and we can get, if I could get Scott to attend some of those meetings so he can get familiarized with it, but Scott has not been to any of the brownfield that I can recall.
Okay. Then if you look at number 4, we talk about a fixed fee of $1,500 per month. Back months and months ago, when we talked about this last year, we talked about that there would be certain hours. So is there, I know month to month, it could vary considerably. You know, you may have a lot of hours one month and it may not be. But I mean, it's an open-end contract, so is there an hourly rate that we agreed to? I mean, are we paying him $200 an hour, are we paying $500 an hour, what?
No, it wasn't, he was looking at between 5 and 10 hours a week. When he was working prior to this, I know that he had put in probably 40 or more hours sometimes in some of the weeks that we had. I have to, because he does a lot of his reading on the weekend. He did it as the administrator, and so I know that he's been on top of all these different items that we have listed on here that he could be working on. So I don't have a, what you would call an hourly rate. He probably would exceed $1,500. I hate to say that.
Right, well, I'm just wondering if there's certain hours that, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
He's
the
coming in on,
expectation is.
he'll be coming in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He comes in the morning. He gives updates. He'll be giving updates to Scott now and anybody else that would like to hear the updates, I'm sure. And, you know, in the meantime, he'll be making his contacts to help us with some of the different properties that we have going with, you know, work that's got to be done.
So there's no minimum hours that we have in there?
A minimum amount?
Yeah, minimum amount of hours or anything? Nothing that says?
It's just informed that I was told that it was going to be between 5 and 10 hours a week. But he, you know, he actually works most of the time more than that.
And then, I guess this is a question for perhaps Mr. Long, and so typically, any of our consultants, subcontractor, labor and whatnot, they would have workers' comp and general liability, in some cases professional liability insurance. So I don't see anything in there that talks about that. So if somebody was injured if he happens to go to a site or go meet somebody and gets injured, is that something that we're not requesting, or is that something that we pulled out of our charter that was not requested, not required?
He's not an employee of the city,
Of course not. I
so we're
understand
not
that.
providing benefits of workers' comp and.
No, but typically when we do have an outside service agreement, we require our sub-consultants, our
Oh, to prove that he's got
subcontractors.
his own insurance?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think we would be careless for us not to require. And maybe he already has it, so then maybe it's a moot case, I don't know, but it needs to be on there. No other consultant shows up, does not have at least the general liability or workers' comp insurance.
Okay.
So, is that something that we're gonna require?
We can look into it and see what, I mean, I don't know what liability runs. You might know better than I do, but I don't know what liability runs when it comes down to an individual having a contract. I don't know that, so I would have to see if that's going to be permissible to Mr. Wagner and if that's something that he can provide.
But I just think we require it by every single person that does it, so it's something that we'd be setting up unusual precedent that we didn't require it.
Okay. We can do that. I mean, I'll check with, if that's a deterrent from him staying with the job, then we won't have a contract. If it is, if it's something that he can provide, then I guess we'll move forward and do that. I mean, I don't know what to tell you unless, Mr. Wagner wants to talk about it now, or, okay. So.
I'm more than happy to be paid by an hourly rate. And if you guys want to pay me an hourly rate, I'm more than happy to work for an hourly rate.
So is there any, oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Von Crooks.
Would that be, in other words, taking the $1,500 and dividing it by so much per hour then? Is that how you want to rework it? I mean, or would he be covered under our umbrella policy?
No.
Or, How would this work?
No, I'm totally fine with if it's a lump sum, if it's not to exceed the $1,500 and you mutually agree upon whatever the hourly rate is, that's fine. And if he decides to go more that month, he only gets paid the $1,500, but there may be a month he doesn't go as much.
Well,
So
I
however
kind
you
of
work
doubt
that
that,
out.
Bob, to be honest with you. I truly think, and I was going to state this before this insurance came up, I think this is the best decision that this community has made in a long time. We have needed an economic development director for years. This city is just in the forefront of going forward with a lot of great projects that we haven't had come to this community in many years. And it's because of that man up there that a lot of this is happening, because he's worked the deals when he was the city administrator. So my opinion is we're getting way more bang for the buck than we're paying him. We're lucky to have him, and I think this council really knows that from working with him for the last 7 years, those of us who've been here and seen the rise and fall of things that weren't coming to this town. So I gotta say, I'm on board with this, and I have been, and I've wanted a director for years. It just so happens to be a former employee, and he's gonna work for a reasonable rate to see through some of these great projects. So, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. And I'd love to welcome back Jim Wagner. So, that's all I have to say.
So, Mr. Lund, do you have an opinion? I mean, am I not correct that everybody that does work for our community as a consultant?
I can't tell you whether everybody that is retained by contract of the city.
Should they, should they have at least the minimum insurances?
Right.
I mean, I can assure you, well, I guess I'm not sure what direction we're going to go, if we're going to delay this or move forward or just vote on it. If we're going to just vote on it, then I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Mayor.
Councilman LaFever?
I think Bob's right, but I don't think it's a big problem for Jim to get something, okay? I just went through deals in Florida, and you can't really have anybody there, Bob, unless they are covered, okay?
It's the industry standard.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal for Jim to get something, okay? You know, I'm sure it wouldn't, but from my experience in Florida, and different laws, he has to have something, okay?
But does he have to have it in Michigan?
I don't know. As I said in Florida, I really don't know, Nelson, but in Florida, I know you have to, okay? I don't know about Michigan.
So right now, if you're looking at 40 hours a month, it's $37.50 an hour. I'm looking at the top.
I think we're done with that part of the issue. We're done with it. I think the only part in my mind is up whether he can get some, maybe he has it right now, I don't know, okay?
Okay, so do you want to make the motion and put it pending general liability is added to the agreement? He needs to obtain the general liability?
You're asking me?
I'm asking who was the maker?
LaFever, Von Crooks.
Pending,
Well, I think it warrants a discussion between the administration and Mr. Wagner. That's what it warrants, okay?
it doesn't get the contract signed. If I don't have approval from the council to approve the agreement with added general liability.
Workers' comp and general liability.
So what I'm looking at is if the council is okay with working with Mr. Wagner in regards to those two things to get it into his contract? Is everybody okay with that?
And what about, are they going to put something in there about the hours?
No, I don't think so.
What do you want in
I
regards to
agree
the
with
hours?
Timber. You know, we've gotten our,
Money's.
go ahead and do that, it's gonna cost us more money, okay? You know what I'm saying? He works an awful lot of hours, that's my opinion, okay? Right? And I think we got a good deal the way we got it, you know, and I'm happy Jim's willing to do that. And I think the monthly pay is very good for the city of Trenton, okay? So,
You think?
you know, that's how I feel about it.
So I guess I'm asking again, is it okay with the council that we go ahead and approve the contract pending the general liability and workman's comp, to work with Mr. Wagner to see if he can obtain it? If he can't obtain it, then we...
That's fair to me.
Okay.
My vote, I'm one vote.
Does anybody have a problem with that? You still want a roll call, Mr. Howie?
Please.
Then, okay. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Howie,
No.
LaFever,
Yes.
Perugi,
Strongly, yes.
Berzappa,
Yes.
Stack,
Yes.
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti.
Yes.
Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any late items? Okay, I'm going to defer to Mayor Pro Tem Councilman LaFever with the disbursements and statements and the reports, please.
Thank you, Mayor Stack. I make a motion that we authorize disbursements dated January 22nd, 2019, in the amount of $2,309,578.51.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
My next motion will be authorized ACH transactions dated December 2018 in amount of $1,973,437.36.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
And I make a motion to receive and place and file the following reports. The financial summary dated December 31st, 2018. The scheduled investments in cash on hand dated December 31st, 2018. The City Beautiful Commission minutes dated November 1st, of 2018. The Civic Commission minutes dated December 3rd, of 2018. The Traffic Safety Commission minutes dated December 5th, 2018. And the Fire and Police Department monthly reports dated for December of 2018.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Councilman LaFever, did you want to, I know we don't have a sheet for you, but did you want to look to do a council study session
Do they want to schedule one?
on the 4th of February?
Yeah, I want to make a motion that we have a closed session on the 4th, okay? And also...
At 6:30?
6:30, okay with everybody here?
For the
Okay,
purpose of
6:30 for purpose of,
litigation.
Litigation.
yeah, litigation, yeah. All right. And then a study session to follow it at,
To follow the regular meeting?
correct?
Support.
In the, that council study session will be in regards to budget,
Right.
throwing out ideas and stuff, okay?
What was the other meeting? Was it, this is 2 meetings that night? No, we had 3.
Closed session and the study session.
Okay.
And then we have the regular in between.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the motion.
Okay. There's 3 meetings that night. Okay, is there any discussion? Did I get a support on that?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Okay.
Do we need a roll call because there was a closed session in there?
Yes, we do. I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
LaFever,
Yes.
Perugi,
Yes.
Berzappa,
Yes.
Stack,
Yes.
Von Crooks.
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Howie.
Yes.
Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Okay, very good. Okay, next, now I'd like to go to the council. And first, I'm going to start with Councilman Berzappa.
I don't have very much tonight, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to thank the Civic Commission for doing a great job with the City Awards banquet. And it was still, very well attended, even with the very gross weather. And I think after 5 years on council now, I've finally mastered making sure I don't make eye contact with Councilperson LaFever and don't walk into or out of the room while he's speaking. But I did want to say that you did a real fantastic job too, Bill, as always. So thank you for that. and for our Civic Commission and all the volunteers and all the work they put into that. And then from that same token, that same evening, to thank everyone at DPS for doing a really great job with the roads. Ours were far and away the best ones around here. Even the side streets and all got done real quick on a really long and gross evening. So just wanted to say great job to everyone there. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Von Crooks?
Yeah, I wanted to thank the DPW too, because they did a great job, and in front of our businesses were salted, and really, they've done a super job cleaning, making it safe for the residents and for our customers. So I'd like to thank Bill, you and your department. You guys did a great job. Thank you, that's it.
Councilman Benedetti?
Well, I'll echo the same things they said about the budget, or about the awards banquet and the DPW. It was a good evening. It was, like you said, well-attended, and it was my first year as a council member, and I learned not to get up and leave the room so Bill could pick on you. You just sit there and don't look at him, and he won't pick on you. On a better note, Bill, I'd like to congratulate Private First Class Randy Washburn Jr. He graduated boot camp from the Marines, and I know that kid has worked hard his whole life for everything. And I know you guys know his family. His dad's a fireman here in Trenton, Randy Sr., and he's a great kid, does a great job, and I'm very proud of him.
He is a great kid.
Yeah.
Let's put it, great young man.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Boot camp from the Marines.
Councilman LaFever?
I just want to congratulate the Civic Commission. And one person I forgot was Joanne Gagne. Joanne does an awful lot of work there. She usually gives one of the best speeches. I said usually, not this year, but usually she does, okay? And it was a lot of work, Joanne. Thank you for that. I wonder, are you or the mayor going to handle some of the major awards that were given out that night?
Did I pick
Would
them?
you
or-
recognize the people, the outstanding policemen and firemen and that type of thing?
Yes.
Announce them here tonight, would that be okay?
Sure.
All right. So it was a great job, the Civic Commission did a good job, and it was a very nice night, other than the weather. The other thing I was concerned about is that the condition of Elizabeth Park. I mean, outside the park, where the parking lot is for the bike trail, there used to be 3 ice skating ponds there, okay? Now there's, all summer long, there was just standing water there. Now the weeds are about 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. You certainly can't skate on there, and it was more like a duck habitat or something like that. Didn't we get a hold of the county and have them try and fix that? Does anybody else notice that, or just me?
Maybe they can raise the parking lot up too, for the kayak parking lot. It's always underwater.
I mean, we're either gonna have a skating pond there or not.
I will contact them to see what their plan is for that area, because it could be, I will check and find out.
Yeah, yeah, that's great, okay. Other than that, that was it. I thought the mayor did a great job at City Awards Banquet.
I didn't do
Feeding
anything.
all the stuff to me to say, so thank you.
Okay. Councilman Peruggi?
Yes, just a couple of things. I'd just like to say thanks to the DPW. They did an awesome job. I was witness to that. Repeatedly, I saw trucks plowing, and it was very well noticed and appreciated. Second thing is, Stephen, notice how Bill didn't pick on me.
It's the second best way to do it.
I miss Nelson.
I'm all set, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Howie?
Well, though I couldn't attend and had conflict, but I do want to still thank the Civic Commission and all the volunteers who put it together, and congratulate all the winners of the awards for all their efforts and everything they provided to the city. So thanks again. And it's already been talked about our snow removal and icing, so obviously second, we're definitely the best. Nobody comes close to that. That's it. Thank you.
I can give some of the awards, and maybe you can help me out with them. First of all, the Police Officer of the Year was Stephen Lyons for his, and he received the honor of, you gotta tell me the name of the award, it's a Valor. Medal of Valor he received from the Police Department for his life-saving event that they had when a car went into the Detroit River. Also, the Honor Guard received communication special recognition. The Honor Guard did. And that was very nice. They've done a great job. Oh, here you go. Somebody wrote it all down for me. That was good. In those, the special recognition award was to the Honor Guard. It was Lieutenant Michael Oakley, Detective Sergeant Donald Ward, Sergeant Andrew Greeno, Patrol Mohammed Kassab. And I think there's other, trying to think of the other officers that are on that Honor Guard. Maybe I can get the director to let me know, or the police chief. The Trenton Knight of the Year was John Myers. Charlie Brown Award was Michael Loria. Senior Citizen of the Year was Coy Kuhn. Good Neighbors of the Year was Cindy Dingle, and I'm gonna chop this guy's name up. Christopher Zubek, okay.
Mailman.
He was the mailman, yes.
Nominated by his mother.
And, yes. And then also, Trenton Sports Hall of Fame was Freeman Floyd and Alec Lesko, and all of them were very deserving of the awards that they received, so I want to thank all of them. One thing I'd like to do is also thank Father Stephen Rooney. He did our invocation this year, and this is his first year with St. Joe's Church, and he did a fine job, so I just wanted to thank him for all that he did that night.
Mayor, if I could add to that. Also, we had, I believe, is it a Community Relations Officer of the Year was Don Ward from our police department, and the Firefighter of the Year award went to Gary Rosinski.
Okay, Gary Rosinski, yes.
I think those were the only two that were missed.
Thank you for your help, because
Excuse me.
I should have had all those.
You missed the most important two awards. That were the outstanding two healthiest places in town to eat.
Oh, the healthiest restaurants in town that was nominated by the Healthy Initiative was Sibley Gardens and Ramsey's on West Jefferson. And the Total Health also received it, but they're not in Trenton, but they've gotten different breakfasts and or lunches and dinners that are all healthy that you can eat there. So you can check off, you'll see there's a little leaf pattern that they're going to be putting by those restaurant choices. So we're starting with that. And if you have a restaurant in town, see if you can put together a healthy, with the guidelines. And I'm sure if Ruth Siebling will give you all those guidelines for that. So I wanted to remind everybody, we have opened up the reservations. We will be opening up the reservations for Westfield on January 28th, and that will be from June 30th to December 31st of 2019. So if you would like to reserve the Westfield building for a party or a function, the 28th of January, the office opens at 8:30 in the morning. So you'll need to fill out the proper paperwork and check what date might be that you're interested in to see if it's available. Also, reminder to residents that please do not push the snow into the street. That is against our ordinance, and so we wouldn't want you to be, you could be possibly ticketed if somebody happened to see you doing it, but it is not allowed in the community. And the last reminder I have is to remind everybody not to use flushable wipes.
Hey. Why are you looking at me?
I'm not looking at you in particular, but that does create a problem at our waste treatment plant. They say they're flushable, but they do not disintegrate, so we have problems down there. Other than that, I'll ask our elected officials. Madam Clerk, do you have anything this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, should I say?
I would just like to mention that our next regular council meeting is on Monday, February 4th. At 7 p.m.
And we will have a closed session at 6:30 regarding litigation and, is there something?
Study session.
Okay, I'm sorry, she already said it? I missed that, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about something else. Okay, anything else that you have? Okay, our city assessor, Mr. Delquist, do you have something you want to say? Go ahead.
Just a question. Two of my neighbors got into a discussion over the so-called snow emergency. Was there a snow emergency in the city of Trenton?
Yes, it was.
So we had more than 4 inches?
Yes.
How many inches did we have?
4.9 to 5.1.
How much?
4.9 to 5.1,
Okay.
depending on where you measure.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, and it was from 3 PM to 3 PM the next day.
Okay.
That was on Saturday to Sunday.
And how many
And-
violations did we issue?
I don't believe any. Most people were very workable and got their cars off the street.
I mean,
Did you have some on your street?
no, my neighbors a little bit disagreeing about moving their cars. Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, no. It's a very difficult thing to have to try to do because
understand.
everybody, likes to argue over it after, there might be a ticket issued. So I think police and DPW kind of worked with the people, and if somebody's got a complaint, I think they need to direct it to the police department on the day if we have a snow emergency. And
How many tickets have we given out in the last 2 years for a snow violation?
I don't know, you have to ask the chief.
300 tickets?
Last 2 or 3 weeks, yeah, a couple stars, we really did hard.
Really? How much is the fine?
Okay, the audience can't hear you, so. Yes. Sorry.
Don't worry, Mr. Dahlquist, you're
Yeah.
all set.
All right.
He's gonna tell us that he wants money for something.
Yeah, to answer your question on this last one, I haven't checked to see how many we issued. I'm sure we issued a few. A lot of times, the tickets are issued through the mail, as you know.
Okay.
We can't put them on the windshield.
I agree.
And a lot of times what we do is, they're gonna look at several different scenarios. Downtown's a different story. People don't have driveways. We open up the municipal lots for them. Some people have moved it back out in the street after they've already plowed, and then, it's clean all the way to the gutter on the street. And then some people have a clean driveway and they've got 3 cars in the street. Well, they're more likely to get a violation. But yeah, a couple of years ago, we hit it real hard, and that changed. We used to probably have 60% compliance. I think we're up into maybe 85, 90% now.
Great, okay, super,
So-
thank you.
Mr. Dalquist, our city assessor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to remind the personal property taxpayers that the Form 4175 and the Small Business Exemption Form 5076 are due this February 20th. And for the people who qualify for the Small Business Tax Exemption Form 5076, this will be the final year that you'll have to return this form to the assessor's office this year. So it's the one and done does take effect this year in 2019. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Our city treasurer. I want to remind people their tax bill is due.
I can, it's 3 weeks from today.
3 weeks from today. Is it
Be
the
careful what
14th
you
or the
say.
15th?
Let me just thank those that have paid their taxes. I appreciate that. We all do. The taxes are due February 14th. It's a Thursday. And you can pay those without penalty if it's done by the 14th. And unfortunately, after the end of the month of February, then they go to the Wayne County.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Doyle. Dr. Doyle, do you have something you'd like to say?
I'll give a quick update on the schools.
That'll be good.
Thank you. Just three quick things. Thank you, Mayor Stack and members of City Council. January is School Board Recognition Month. The Trenton School Board will be recognized Monday, January 28th, prior to the regular 6:30 meeting. That is a Monday coming up. So please be sure to thank a school board member. They do a great job. They do a lot for our kids. They do a lot for our community. As I've said at this podium, and I've said before, we have this vision of overachieving. Second thing is our schools continue to move forward with the 2018 bond projects. The fall was spent mostly preparing the 2 elementaries through the design process. The design process for the 2 elementaries is pretty much done. We're starting the bid process. And the first phase of construction, weather permitting, hearing all these conversations about weather, would be to break ground at Anderson Elementary and Headkey Elementary April 1st, putting two kindergarten classrooms at each of those. And then the third thing that was mentioned earlier, I heard it at the table, is the schools did sell. The owned school property has been sold, and tentatively we're looking at 26 single-family homes being put there. So be great for the city and be great for the schools, certainly. So thank you.
Sounds good.
Nelson?
Mr. Doyle, has there been a project manager chosen for the school system for all these projects?
The construction manager is McCarthy and Smith. That would be Bill McCarthy, would be our construction manager. And then our architect is French Associates, and that's Dale Jerome.
But is anybody overseeing all of these, the architects, the construction people, so they can oversee it, so to speak, as it relates to, are they spending the right amount of money?
Thank you for that question. We do have an advisor. We have a man named John Stoner, who would be the advisor, who is the owner's rep. He would be our rep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the
Dr.
question.
Doyle?
Thank you.
Dr. Doyle, what day, I know I've seen it when my grandson comes home, but not everybody has kids, the days you have the public meetings for that, to say where we're at, how we're doing?
Oh, that's an excellent question, too. Thank you. I'm really glad I came. We just schools always begin their election cycle in January, even though we begin, school in September. So we've just began a new school board session. So to answer your question, and thank you, the second school board meeting will always be, the second school board meeting of the month will always be a bond update at 5:30. So the 28th of January, that's why when we do board recognition month, we'll begin at 5:30, and that will be a bond update. And that's done by Dale Jerome, our architect, and our construction firm is usually there too, Bill McCarthy.
Thank you.
Okay. No, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you
Okay.
for everybody working together.
Thank you. Any department heads have anything they'd like to report to the council? And I know our Director of Parks and Recreation does. We were able to, they had a Downriver Linkways initiative, and they ended up having a ceremony today, and they presented certain things for us because of a grant that we're going to be getting some signs and that, so it's really...
So thank you very much. As Mayor Stack just said, today was our Trail Triumphs event at the Flat Rock Community Center. It was organized by the Downriver Link Greenways, as well as all of the partner organizations that are a part of that, including the City of Trenton. And so part of this celebration was to announce all of the great work that has been happening in our area over the last few years with trails. And as you know, the City of Trenton has just this September completed finally after 5 years. Thank you very much to Council for your support on that. The connector between Elizabeth Park, Rosehill Parkway, and the International Wildlife Refuge. We just have some minor punch lists of things to complete in the spring. But this day was to celebrate many of those triumphs that have been happening, including the announcements by the Downriver Link Greenways. They were able to receive grant monies to assist with a signage program, as well as our Trail Town Master Plan that we were gifted by them. And so today, they gifted us the final version of the Trail Town Master Plan, and we will be getting started on implementation of that plan. I plan to get invite people to be a part of the committee that will assist us in moving that Trail Town Master Plan forward. And as well, the part of the grant opportunity that they got from the Iron Bell Trails grant was a signage strategy, and also able to get kiosks. 11 of the communities along the Downriver Link Greenways were gifted today these kiosks. And so they will be put in place. This particular one, you can turn it both ways, there's two-sided, will be placed along our trail. And so this was a gift to the City of Trenton, as well as our master plan. So we were gifted that, and we will be installing that this summer. As well, we have pavement markers, so you can identify that how the path is going. There are certain areas of the path, especially like at Flat Rock, and that where sometimes it's difficult to know how to maneuver to get from one part of the path to the other. And then we have also confidence markers that will be going up on our pathway as well. So this was, again, a wonderful afternoon. The mayor was there to represent the City of Trenton, and was there to receive these gifts. So be looking for that, and thank you again for all of your support.
Thank you.
Also, Tim would not be happy with me if I forgot. The MIHL Hockey Showcase is coming up. It's in a week and a half. We are still looking for volunteers. If you are interested in spending a couple hours at the rink, great hockey you will see. It is Thursday, January 31st. Friday the 1st and 2nd. So 42 teams coming in from all over the state of Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin. So just give our office a call if you're interested in helping. Thank you.
Good. Very good. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to talk to the public from the department heads? Okay.
Mayor, if I could.
Oh, go ahead.
Would like to inform the public, there was a planning commission meeting that was scheduled for tomorrow night, January 23rd, and that meeting has been canceled.
Okay. Is there anything else? If not, if there's somebody from the public that would like to talk to the council, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, my name is Jado Banjanin. I live on 2727 Canterbury Street in Trenton. I have not heard anything about repairs to be done to the Westfield Activities Center that you spend $30,000 for an architect's.
Are you asking me or telling me?
No, I'm asking you.
Okay. We are in the process right now. We think that because there's no money budgeted at this time, we're going to have to budget it for our next year budget.
The pictures of the 3 evaluations or studies indicate that some of this thing is minuscule in price. For example, you got downspouts going right down top of the foundations, okay, with no extensions to drive it away from the foundation. On south side, on west side, on east side. On north side. You have them on the east side, and you don't have any problems on the east side. So that's not very expensive. We need to do this, or else you're going to have more of a problem with the foundations if you don't do this. And there are pictures in the 3 studies that show exactly that downspouts are actually emptying right on top of the foundation.
I understand, Mr. Banjanin. I'm just gonna let you know, we know the problems that have to be taken care of. Some of those things, yes, we can do that right now, but I'm going to let you know that to fix the major things that have to be done there, I need $100,000, and I don't have it budgeted.
When you're gonna do the stuff that you can't do, that's easy stuff?
We'll put it on a list to have done. That's what we're gonna have to do. I mean, I've gotta get it to the DPW, and I gotta see if I've got the manpower and everything else to be able to do it. I gotta tell you, sometimes I don't have the manpower to do it, depending on how many people are working. The first 6 guys are working on trash. So I have to do trash every day, okay? So if I get people that call in or can't be here, then I have to, say for instance they're on medical or whatever, I'm down people. So right now I'm down 2 people because I've had retirements. So, I'm doing the best I can with what I got, and I'm going to let you know, we're going to try to do what we can get to get that done. I've already directed the biggest thing that not yours, but the seniors came in and talked about was how filthy the kitchen was. We're going to take care of that. I've got Tim going to be calling and making sure that we get that deep clean so that they feel that it's it's manageable for using and everything else. But I can't at this point in time I can't tell you exactly when certain things are going to be done because I have to do them when I've got manpower to do them.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know that doesn't satisfy you, but there's come one day and sit in my position and I'll tell you all about it.
I'll be more than glad to. You just let me know when.
Oh, sure. I'll let you come in.
Okay.
Anybody else that would like to talk to the council? If not, I'm looking for an adjournment at 8:25.
Motion to adjourn.